Welcome, everyone, to this grand opening of the Ozarks Room here in Duane G. Meyer on the main Springfield campus of Missouri State University. My name is Tom Peters. I'm the Dean of Library Services, and for the last 10 years that I've been here down at Missouri State, I've just loved the Ozarks and every aspect of the Ozarks. So this is very exciting for me. Want to welcome all of our guests, both our online guests and our in-person guests. So we're very glad you're here today. So this Ozarks Room, which actually was created during the pandemic, so good things do come out of the pandemic. But of course we had to hold off on the grand opening until we kind of got into whatever phase we are in the pandemic. I don't know what phase we're in, but we're moving forward with trying to get back to normal life. This is part of the Ozark Studies Institute, which has been around for 44 years here at MSU. March of 1977 was when it got started. I think Bob Flanders was one of the principals who got it started back 44 years ago. About 4 years ago, due to some retirements, the opportunity came for the university libraries to continue on with the Ozark Studies Institute, which we gladly did. I want to give you a sense of what we've been working on. So behind me, we have a growing collection of Ozarks books that most of these have been pulled from our main collection, and we're trying to build on this collection. So for example, just last month, a book on the culinary history of the Ozarks was published, and we've got it on order. And I've got a personal copy in my collection, and I'm looking to see if there's a chapter on pies and fried pies. And if there isn't, I'm going to return it and ask for a refund. Just to highlight a couple of books coming out in 2022 that I'm really excited about. There's a book about collected writings of May Kennedy McCord, the Queen of the Ozarks, is coming out, I think, in April of 2022. We're going to try to bring the author of that book and compiler for a talk in 2022. And then Lucille Morris Upton, who was an amazing journalist. A book by Susan Croce Kelly is coming out in 2022 about Lucille Morris Upton. And I've had a chance to read some of the galleys, and they're good. It's a good book. It'll be a good book. Secondly, we have a speaker series, and we've actually had a speaker every month here during the fall semester. And coming up in November, I believe it's November 4th, Thursday, November 4th, right here, I believe, Curtis Copeland and Tom Koob will be here. They've got a book just out, less than a month, I think, about kind of the hillbilly image in the Ozarks. And it's a good read as well. Then in December, we're going to have Brooks Blevins talk. And And I don't see Brooks here. I don't think he could make it today. But the third volume of his history of the Ozarks, magisterial history, I would say, of the Ozarks, will be out next month. And we're having him in early December to give an author talk and book signing. So we've got a full slate of speaker series in our speaker series. Next, we have digitization projects. So if you know me at all, you cannot talk to me for 5 minutes before I mention the Ozark Jubilee. We're just finishing up on the Ozark Jubilee digitization project. So we've got about 65 kinescopes digitized from the UCLA Film and Television Archive. The work's all done. I'm happy to report only one of those films was too far deteriorated to actually digitize. So we lost one, but we're able to save roughly 64. And those will be freely available online. Some of them are already freely available. And then, I don't think anybody's heard about this, or very few people in the room heard about this. We also have access to a collection of Jubilee backstage photos. Quite a collection of backstage photos that we've digitized. And we're just in conversation today with the donor who wishes to remain anonymous, that those photos will be made public fairly soon here, as soon as we get some of the metadata work done. We also have a lot of images in the Ozarks room, and you're welcome to go around and look at these images. My personal favorite are these frost flowers right behind me. I hope to see frost flowers in the wild coming here in the next couple of months. Michelle Olson here at MSU she's really into frost flowers, and so maybe I can go out with her and find some. We also have objects that we're gathering about the Ozarks. So in the cases in the back of the room, currently we have some hand-carved wooden figures by Mark Arnold, who's another member of our staff here at the university libraries. We also do Ozarks Watch magazine. I think we have copies around a room. You're welcome to pick one of those up and take it with you. It's a wonderful magazine. We do some grant-funded activities. So currently we have a grant from the National Park Service to conduct research about music venues along Route 66 in Southwest Missouri. Tracy Gilselman France, another of our staff members, there's Tracy back there, is the PI on that particular grant. Last but not least, we have a book series. So we've launched a book series as part of the Ozark Studies Institute. We have 4 books published. I think they're on display over here. The latest one is We Gave Them Thunder by Bill Piston and John Rutherford. Bill's here today. So that's the latest publication in that series. We do have some things coming up. Mara Koenides has a book about the history of Jewish life in Missouri that will be out fairly soon. And I'm also working with an author on a book about the golfing great from the Ozarks, Horton Smith. Will be coming out a little bit later. All of that is preface to what we want to call the big announcement. And so we're moving into that phase of the event. And unfortunately, President Smart could not be here today. He's up in Jeff City, had to be in Jeff City for some meetings and give some testimony. So Dr. Frank Einhelig, who is the provost here at Missouri State University and also happens to be my boss, stepped in to get us a little bit farther, closer to the big announcement. So Frank, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dean Peters, and congratulations on this opening day for officially opening for the Ozark Room. It's certainly something that has been waited on and is already beginning to take shape. But even more important at the moment, I think, is sharing the not so well kept secret, but perhaps a bit of secret, that we do have this historic opportunity to announce that we have entered into a partnership or an agreement with the Smithsonian Institute Center for Folklike and Cultural Heritage. And that partnership or agreement will allow us to be featured in their festival in 2 years, 2023, on the National Mall as a featured not only region of the Ozarks, but it obviously will spill over into Missouri State University as well, which we're very proud of. And to me, this is a great honor for the institution, for the region, and the recognition that we have a unique cultural heritage that should be highlighted and made visible to a much broader group of the world. The Institute's Center for Folklore and Cultural Heritage does have a national presence. It's not just within the United States. So the MSU libraries will partner with a number of advisors and other individuals across the Ozark. And as you know, the Ozarks is a physiographic region that touches into 5 states. Missouri and Arkansas are more prominent in that, but we touch in as this region geographically and physiographically touches into Kansas and into Oklahoma and a little bit into Illinois. So we know we need others to join us in this endeavor, that we will put on a display and be part of that event on the National Mall. As I was reading a bit about the Center for Folklore and Cultural Heritage sometimes back, I noticed the quote by William Faulkner: "The past is never dead, it has never even passed." And those of us that live in the Ozarks know that we have a considerable pride in heritage, and it is never past. It's always brought forward and present in music and in other ways. Certainly, from the very beginning, there's been a lot of connections in the Ozarks with the land, the terrain. It had a marked influence on the agricultural endeavors early on in this region. And those agricultural endeavors, of course, involved on the plant side, fruits and tomatoes and strawberries, that type of nature. We've switched somewhat, but it's still the nature of the land that is influencing our crops now. And certainly the same is true in terms of the agricultural economy of the Ozarks. There used to be a lot more dairy and a lot more beef cattle now, but both of those things have been formed by the nature of the land. And certainly we know that the roots of the people in this part of the area have shown that we are very proud of who we have become and what our roots are. I know that when I was growing up, and it wasn't in the Ozarks, but it wasn't very far away, you were kind of told and let know, never forget from where you came and who you are. And I think that's certainly true in many areas of the world, but you can see it here in our past and in the way that the landscape and the beauty of nature has been ingrained in us and been a part of what has made the people want to stay and be here. The music, the crafts, the individualism, the way that people have entered into storytelling and tracing their ancestry. And I think later you're going to hear from Meredith Cisco. I listen to her essays periodically on the radio every time they're out there, and I appreciate that very much. So we are influenced by our past, and it molds us into what we are today. And in many ways, that is a very good thing. The Ozarks is an not totally unique area, but we have a convergence of the tall grass prairie here. And so we have in some of the open areas, the glades along the roadsides now, where you see big blue stem and little blue stem and switchgrass and Indian grass of the tall grass prairie. But we also have obviously a great abundance in this area near the Queen City and Branson and the areas we know best of the oak hickory forests and the other forest upland species. That's part of what brings us into a heritage, as well as the music, the crafts, and things along that nature. The festival says they want to celebrate in their writings cultural stability, sustainability, and that they're about research and education and community engagement. And I found that very encouraging as we were looking to enter into this agreement. Those are things we're about: sustainability, research, education, community engagement, all things that we as a institution, but as a region are very much invested in. And certainly when I read on their website that they want to have a model of culture of, by, and for the people. I think that's what all of us would wish for and desire. The annual festival is a research-based presentation of living cultural heritage. It's produced outdoors on the National Mall. I've been to the National Mall several times, but never at the time of the festival. So maybe they'll just let me come in a couple of years. Who knows? But it's a 10-day event that provides a platform for cultural exploration, exchange, and engagement. And really, it highlights the artisans, the history, and whatever we choose to develop to present as Ozark culture in that period of time. Now, as I make this historic announcement, I don't want to forget that our president is very invested in the opportunities this has brought. He will be talking to some of you and how you can support, I'm sure, over time. But President Cliff Smart, as was noted, could not be here today, but his enthusiasm is obvious as you talk to him about this particular event. We are very fortunate today also to have, though, a representative from the Smithsonian who is attending virtually this event. And although I'm not sure whether it's one or more, they are in Washington, D.C., over 1,000 miles away. They have a message to share with us. So it's my pleasure at this time to introduce Richard Curran, Interim Director of the Smithsonian Center for Folk Life and Cultural Heritage. Richard is joining us totally remotely, and he will explain in more detail and things that I have not touched on. So Richard, I turn this over to you.
Thank you very much, Provost Einhelig. It's good to be here virtually, although it would be a great time to be out with you in Springfield. I taught for a few years in Carbondale, which has been said is kind of at the edge of the Ozark region there, enjoying Shawnee National Park many times, and of course coming to Missouri and Springfield and so on. I want to thank Dean Peters and congratulate you on the opening of the Ozarks room and the kind of inspiration that will bring forward in the future. So on behalf of the Smithsonian Institution, we're very happy to have this agreement and embark on this, what I hope will be a really wonderful educational public service program to feature the culture of the Ozarks on the National Mall of the United States in 2023. For those of you who are not familiar with the festival, it takes place between the U.S. Capitol building and the Washington Monument, out on that stretch known as the National Mall, surrounded by the Smithsonian National Museums, American History, Air and Space, the African American Museum, American Indian, and the Smithsonian Castle, and so on. 10 days, performances and demonstrations over that period. So the Smithsonian Folklife Festival typically goes around the time of the 4th of July, and activities start in the morning and go till the evening with an evening concerts. And at the festival, typically what you'll find are tents and stages and other structures that will host concerts, craft demonstrations, artisanal demonstrations, cooking demonstrations, storytelling, celebrations, and other cultural exemplars. And in 2023, we'll have an invasion of people and artisans, craftsmen, and musicians from the Ozarks. Probably more than 100 participants. And the festival is free to the public. People come on the National Mall. It's our space. It's the people's space, as often we refer to in Washington. And it's the time when sometimes we'll get several 100,000 visitors, sometimes over 1 million visitors. And it's a time where if somebody is making a quilt or playing a tune or telling a story, members of the public can come up, ask, learn, and participate. Often we'll do dance parties and things like that, so people get a feel and a taste of Ozarks culture. And we'll have cooking, not only cooking demonstrations, but also food for sale, crafts, books, music, and so on. So it's really an opportunity to put the Ozarks in the center of the country over the July 4th period. And symbolically, what that does, not only practically and operationally what it does,
I'm not Richard, but I think what he was trying to say was that this is a unique opportunity. And in the by 2023, they will have the Folklife Festival.
Hello?
They've been doing it for 55 years. And this will be the first time that they've focused on the Ozarks region. So it's an amazing opportunity to highlight our culture. And I think Frank did a good job. We are a resilient, when technology acts up or whatever, we just go on, we deal with the situation as we find it. And that's one of the real strengths of the Ozarks. Okay. Another real strength of the Ozarks is you cannot have any kind of a gathering like this one without some stories and some music. And, I was just thinking about this. Back in the day, if you were going to have a house party, the first thing you did was move out the furniture, because you're going to have a lot of people coming in and clomping around. So that's what we did in this space too. Come back sometime and you'll see a lot more furniture here. The other thing is they'd often have those parties would start in the afternoon and evening with lots of food and help yourself. But they'd often go on till dawn. So call your loved ones and your family and tell them you won't be home tonight because we're going to party. No, we're not. But we do have to have some storytelling and some music. So we have real treats here. First of all, we're going to have Meredith Cisco. She's a storyteller, a journalist, a teacher, an author, a musician, a student of folklore, focusing on stories relevant to Ozarks culture and history. Each month, she's the voice behind These Ozarks Hills, which I listen to. I'm always excited when, Meredith's going to speak today. She spent 20 years as an investigative and environmental writer for the West Plains Quill, a fine regional newspaper with a proud history, and was well known for her gardening column, Crosspatch, on which her newest book is based. Meredith, we need a copy for the Ozarks collection. She's also a music consultant, and she was the feature singer in the 2010 award-winning feature film known as Winter's Bone. I bet most of, if not all of us, have seen that film. So please join me in welcoming Meredith Cisco.
I want to apologize to you in advance because I do wander off sometimes.
We hope so.
I'll certainly try to keep to the script, but no promises. Thank you. Well, I was born in the summer of 1943 in the middle of the war in a little one-room rock house in Butterfield, Missouri, right across the road from the public well. It was a different world. It's over in southwest Missouri, over in Barry County. Population 125. We were sure they counted all the dogs. And I've apparently always been a storyteller. I grew up listening to the stories of my family. And my favorite thing when I was just a little kid was to curl up and pretend to be asleep so they'd tell the really good stories, What did happen to Lyle? Never mind. And so I became a folk singer too, except I didn't know what that was. I'd never heard that word. And finally, when I was 19, I saw May Kennedy McCord on a television show at noon. It was a cooking show, and they were talking about persimmons. And she said, I could just eat as many persimmons as a possum. And I thought, I want to see that. So I went down in the back field and picked a bunch of persimmons and went and knocked on her door and said, I heard you say that, and I'm here with persimmons. She looked at me and she said, you get in here. Okay. And so we sat down on her couch, and she told stories and I told stories, and she sang songs, and I tried to keep up. And in the middle of that, I said, May, I've been singing these songs all my life, but I don't know. I don't understand what they're calling them, folk songs. I don't know what's a folk song. She said, well, you never heard a horse sing, did you? Yeah. Okay. But I accepted that title, and I went on, and some of my most wonderful memories are sitting on that couch, listening to her talk and watching her play that old bedraggly guitar that was trying to come apart. It was the back end of it was separate from the sides, but she played it wonderfully well and sang songs I'd never heard before, and I stole them quick as I could. Anyway, eventually I came to understand, because she introduced me to Max Hunter and to Vance Randolph and Mary Celestia Parler, and sent me down to their house to send along her greetings to them, because Celestia was just coming out of cancer treatment. And I knew that. I didn't know that she was bald, and I further didn't know that she was covering that up by wearing a very large, very red wig. And so she comes to the door in an old-fashioned dress and very tall and with this mammoth wig. And I was speechless for a while. And I stumbled. And I said, fine. I said, May sent me. She said, come on in. And I talked with him all evening. And I talked to Vance. I never met him. He was in the bedroom. She said, well, he's been sick. And the more he talked, I realized that he was just really, really drunk. But we talked, and I started to see myself as part of this tradition. But I was 20, and I was enthralled by Peter, Paul, and Mary, and so I went to the coast, the only one I was familiar with, because we'd been there when I was a kid, and went to San Francisco and decided I was going to break myself into the music business and be a star. And I wasn't bad, but I came to realize that I was not pretty enough to be out front. This was the 60s. And somebody actually said, well, we already have one Mama Cass. Okay. But I had too much ego to be in the back and helping other people that I knew I was better than. And so I finally just walked away and came back to the Ozarks and looked for something else to do, and came back to MSU and got a degree in actually in design and photography, but a minor in writing. And I still didn't know what I was going to do, and I was looking for something that would make me employable, and I had to fill out my schedule with one more class, and the only thing that fit the timeline was journalism. And it was Dale Freeman teaching journalism, and I was in there for 10 minutes. I said, I can do this. I can bleeping do this. And so I did. And I went down to West Plains and interviewed with Frank Martin, who was a brilliant journalist. He had just come back from New Orleans, where he was the city editor for the Times-Picayune. And you had to work to be around Frank, because the only thing he couldn't stand was a lie or an excuse. And I spelled the fellow's name wrong. It was worse than that. The fellow's name was Art Gutfire. I heard the Ozarks version, and I wrote Gutfire. It was a F-A-H-R. And I came in the next morning, there was a big circle around my name and around this article. And I said, what? And they told me, and I said, oh, God. And Frank came in the back door, and the city attorney said, whatever you do, don't make an excuse. And he went up and he slapped the paper down the desk. He said, "What do you call that?" And I said, "I believe that's a stupid mistake, sir." He said, "Just want to know if you knew." He walked back to his desk. So that was my home at the newspaper for 20 years. We were the last newspaper in the United States to give up our teletype machine. So we were old school all the way. So, it's a shopper now, but God, what a wonderful experience. But backing into the Ozarks and folklore and all that sort of thing, when I was studying songs, of course, you couldn't be in folk music without paying attention to Pete Seeger once in a while. And I heard him talk about the folk process, where songs, especially songs that were really about something, would over time come up against another issue and suddenly become about something else. And I got very interested in that because I'd done it and didn't know that it was a tradition. I didn't know that was a thing. And so I started looking at songs from the standpoint of what they were about, what they're trying to say here, and how can I make you cry? Because some things are that important, And if you can, why wouldn't you? So in the middle of all that, I was up in St. Joseph, Missouri. It's on the edge of the Ozarks, I think, just barely. But there was a group up there that I think they're based in Columbia, actually, but they were cleaning up the Missouri River 5 miles at a time. Giant John boats of volunteers. They'd go out and just grab up every mattress and pre-owned diaper, and impressive group. And they invited me up to talk to them, and I did. And I don't have any idea what I said, but after the talk, they invited me to come have supper with them, and they were camped out at a Conservation Department nature center out by the river, and had a big campfire, and we're sitting around talking. And I was looking around, and here's the nature center and a big parking lot, and there's the casino, and I thought, this doesn't quite make sense to me. And I said, what? Why are we here? Why this place specifically? And they said, well, this was one of the places where the people went across with their wagons out onto the Oregon Trail. Really? I had no idea. And I was looking across that river, and even at night, it was just huge. And over on the other side, there was nothing. There wasn't a house. There wasn't a light. And I was thinking about how they did that, how they crossed that river and went on a path through the grass that if you lived, you could go to Oregon. And whether you did or not, nobody would ever know what happened to you. It'd be like us going to Mars. Nobody would ever know. And I thought about that, and I said, wow, this amazing history. And one of the guys popped up and said, well, this is the place where the song Shenandoah started. What? What about the Indian princess? She said that it wasn't even in the song back then. He said it got to be popular. It was a bunch of people from the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia come through on those wagons and got stopped because the water was high. And they had to sit there and look across that river, as homesick as you could ever get to be. And he wrote this song. Some guy wrote this song. It got to be popular. The Riverboat guys learned it, took it all the way down the Missouri to St. Louis. The guys on the Mississippi learned it, took it all the way to New Orleans. The sailors learned it, took it to England. They didn't know what a Shenandoah was. So they made up words that they thought might fit with something they'd heard about America. And that's what they sent back to us, and that's the one we learned and kept alive, and now it's just a nonsense song. So me and my folk process, I thought about that all night. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, we're not hearing the right part. We're not hearing that song. And then, much to my embarrassment, I said to myself, what would I say if I was sitting up by that river, about to go off on that path through grass? and nobody would ever hear from me again, what would I say? And so I wrote a version of Shenandoah. And my words for it have disappeared into the blue. We're going to have to rely on my memory, and my memory is 78 years old. God help us. I think we can maybe do it. Emily, could you play for me? Where did those? Okay, never mind. I'll just do it. Thank you. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you away, rolling river. My Shenandoah, I'll always grieve you away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you, your water song, you singing river. My roving heart is always near you away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri. You can sing along if you like. For many years I've been a wanderer, far away on mighty rivers, seeking my fate somewhere out yonder away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri. I left my home, I left my family, never more to see their faces, for that siren's call of far off places away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri away. I'm bound away across the wide Missouri. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meredith. That was wonderful. What I've heard is that we have reestablished connection with DC, and Richard's here to finish his sentence and any other sentences that he may wish to interject. So let's turn it back over to Richard Curran from the Smithsonian.
Hi, Tom, and thank you. And sorry, everybody, for disappearing with that. Thanks, Tom, for carrying the ball, and Meredith. That was beautiful. And as Meredith reminds us, you know, tradition is often, and our heritage are often discovered, rediscovered, documented, understood, fleshed out. And it just shows the living nature of tradition and its relationship with ongoing creativity. And so I think when the Ozarks, and we'll have more than 100 participants from storytellers and singers, musicians, dancers, craftspeople, cooks, and so on, telling their story and connecting it, I think, as Meredith reminds us, to the real experience of real people. And, you know, today I think we're so overcome with, you know, celebrity and things from popular culture and so on that, you know, sometimes the general populace forgets who their neighbors are, who their fellow citizens and residents are, and that they have stories to tell and ways of expressing, and they have knowledge and wisdom and artistry that they bring to life and letting us know about it. and what we can learn from it. So we expect the festival to produce not only major performances on the mall that will be enjoyed by hundreds of thousands, if not more than 1 million people, many people over the web, on a broadcast. We'll end up doing a Folkways record series on the Ozarks that we hope to put out on our record label, Smithsonian Folkways, and produce, hopefully in concert with other educational and cultural institutions like MSU, but others in the region, educational materials and so on. We'll work very closely with scholars, folklorists, ethnomusicologists, cultural historians, figures, and community exemplars in the region. And again, as has been said, while primarily the region is, Missouri and Arkansas, we'll also talk to our colleagues and institutions in those parts of the Ozarks in Oklahoma, Kansas, and that sliver of Illinois. We expect that there'll be benefits for this. Some people will become well-known. People will turn things into dissertations and theses. Other people will turn them into podcasts and radio and perhaps even television documentaries. So we hope it provides some opportunities for various artists and cultural exemplars in the region. Often the festival has provided an impetus for local cultural tourism. We hope in a more understanding way, so people kind of get on the back road or go places they may not usually go and talk to the folks and the people who live in those communities. Primarily, overall, I'd say the festival's greatest benefit of having people from the region out there on the mall every day, doing their thing and showing what they believe in, showing their talents, showing their aspirations, talking to their fellow citizens, fellow residents and neighbors. What that does is really occasion a sense of respect, a respect for who we are. And as Provost Ein Henlig said, people in the Ozarks, as in other regions, are proud of who they are. They should be. And this is a way of doing that on the National Mall around the July 4th holiday as a real symbol of who we are. And I think with the Ozarks, you have very deep traditions going back to Native people. You have early colonization efforts, Spanish, French, and so on. Certainly Scots-Irish and German settlers, English settlers, and so on. African Americans coming into the region, but also newer immigrants that bring new traditions. And what you get out of that mix, what we've seen is the invigoration and in some cases, a certain cultural dynamism of adaptation of new experiences, transformation of old songs, the creation of new traditions and new memories. So we hope that the program conveys that. We're looking forward to MSU is so glad is taking the lead on this in terms of our agreement, and Tom, Dean Peters, and you, in terms of you getting the ball rolling here. We expect to work with other educational and cultural institutions in Missouri and the surrounding states, and we'll be organizing actually our first group of curatorial conversations with various folks, with various experts, scholars, cultural exemplars, really in the coming days to start formulating the program. So the program will not be a Smithsonian creation. It won't be created, sorry to say, in the dean's office or the provost or president's office at MSU, but it'll create it really out of the region of people coming together to say, this is how we can represent who we are to the rest of the nation and visitors from around the world who come to the mall during the summer of 2023. We're also hoping to get support of the various states and arts councils, various foundations, businesses, and so on that play an important role in the region and can help support its people and its representation to the rest of the country and the rest of the world. So we look forward to it. This is a grand announcement. We'll hear some music going out from Emily, but we got a lot of work to do, and we look forward to doing it together. Thank you, and glad I could get back to you.
Thank you, Richard. That really summarized it. We've already started to do some outreach. We want to work with a wide array of organizations throughout the region to make this an excellent program on the National Mall in 2023. So I'm going to learn a lot. And the first thing I've learned is the Ozarks is a big region. And unlike Iowa, where I grew up, where all the roads run north, south, or east, west, and there's 90-degree intersections, there are many curves and hilly roads in the Ozarks, and they seem to get hillier after it gets dark. Before I introduce Emily, I want to thank everybody who made today's event possible. I know Nathan Neuschwander, who I think is over in that closet right there. Oh, no, he's back there. And there's Nathan. He did a lot of work to make this all happen. Laura French did amazing amount of work. I know Melissa Eichen in the back did a lot of work, and a lot of other people. And there was a whole nother team at the Smithsonian, and they tested and retested and thought through how they were going to make this all work. So I extend my thanks to them. Our next performer she's already been performing, but she'll be highlighted now, is Emily Flatness. She's a singer, a songwriter, a fiddler from Ozark, Missouri. And if you mention Ozark, Missouri to me, immediately I'm thinking about the Weaver brothers and Elviry. So she's from Leon and Frank's and Max's region of the Ozarks. One of her greatest passions is folk music, originating from the Ozarks and the Appalachian upland South. She's a fourth generation Missouri State University student, 4 generations Missouri State. And she's majoring in history with a minor in Ozark studies. So we actually have half of the Ozark studies minors in the room right now. So they can exchange notes, but not cheat after she sings. In her free time, she sings and plays fiddle to bluegrass and traditional folk music in the bands Poana and Magnolia Wind. She also acts in the long-standing outdoor drama, The Shepherd of the Hills in Branson. In 2019, Emily was one of 5 students from around the nation to win the National Endowment for the Arts Musical Theater Songwriting Challenge. So she is an award-winning songwriter, and she's now going to perform a couple of songs, I believe, and one of them is going to be the one that she submitted to that NEA contest named Carolina. So please join me in welcoming Emily Flatness.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. This song was inspired by the story of my great-great-great-grandfather. His name was Arnoldus Zweerink. He immigrated here from the Netherlands in the 1800s, and he was an orphan, but he made a life, had a family, had children, and he was drafted into the Union Army, and he was killed 9 days before Lee surrendered at Appomattox. So this was inspired by that. It's called Carolina. My blue coat's worn, my heart is heavy. I'll never meet my newborn son. Oh, for me, this war is over, but for my family, it's just begun. In the papers, they all say the war is over. One last battle, then the boys have won. No more will you roam, my love. I'm coming home. I'm coming back from Carolina. This ain't where my bones should lay. Oh, my darling, I'm coming home. And this time, I'm coming home to stay. for Richmond. I told my wife I'd be home soon. 4 years have passed, and I lie dying underneath this lonely moon. And I'll miss the rushing rivers by the farmhouse, and the warm smell of biscuits on the fire. No more will I roam, my love. I'm coming home. I'm coming back from Carolina. This ain't where my bones should lay. Oh, my darling, I'm coming home. And this time, I'm coming home to stay. My blue coat's worn, my heart is heavy. And this time, I'm coming home to stay. Thank you. I'll perform one now that's not musical theater. This is a child ballad, and it's one that's not too dark or depressing, surprisingly. It's called One Morning in May. One morning, one morning, one morning in May, I met a fair couple making their way. Oh, one was a lady, so sweet and so fair, and the other was a soldier and a brave volunteer. Good morning, good morning, good morning to thee. Oh, where are you going, my pretty lady? I'm a-going a-walking by the banks of the stream, to see the waters a-gliding and hear the nightingales sing. They had not been standing but an hour or two, when out of his knapsack a fiddle he drew, and the tune that he played made the valleys all ring. Oh, hearken, said the lady, how the nightingales sing. Pretty soldier, won't you marry me? Oh, no, pretty lady, that never can be. I had a wife in London and children twice 3. 2 wives in the army's too many for me. I'll go back to London and I'll stay there 1 year, and often I'll think of you, my little dear. And if ever I return, it will be in the spring, to see the waters a-gliding and hear the nightingales sing.
Thanks so much, Emily. That was wonderful. So thanks for coming. I think we still have some victuals around the corner there. So if you hankering for, it might be supper, who knows? Feel free to help yourself. Got some good cider. And again, this is the kickoff event. So we're to T-minus 19 months, but who's counting, before the festival in late June, early July of 2023. So thanks for coming. Take care. Drive carefully.